Our next Hall of Fame induction is Coach John Burr, Adair County High School. Representing Coach Burr, who is deceased, is his son, Ben Burr.
Coach John Burr, Region 5, Columbia High School, Adair County High School, 1941 through 1968. Coach John Burr became a legend among Kentucky high school basketball coaches over his 27-year tenure at Columbia and Adair County. His teams won 560 games. The Adair County Indians would challenge for Sweet 16 glory in 1954 and 55, making it to the semifinals in 54 and the championship game in 55, where they lost to Hazard High School. Coach Burr was named Courier Journal Coach of the Year in 1955. Coach John Burr was a fierce competitor whose teams exemplified his spirit. He is still considered by many the dean of 5th Region coaches.
My dad was from Toledo, Ohio. He was a basketball player at Lindsey Wilson. Went from Lindsey to Georgetown College and played there for 2 years. When my dad came to Lindsey, my mother was a senior in high school, and my dad refereed high school games. He saw her as a cheerleader at Columbia High School because she went to Lindsey after graduating. Then they ended up getting married in 1943. At the old Columbia High School, when they went to ball games, they went by Greyhound bus. And as a young kid, my dad used to take me along, and I thought that was the neatest thing ever. His personality was the same all the time. He was a disciplined kind of person. He was very athletic, loved what he did. He became part of the community. When he was coaching at Columbia High School, he opened the gym up in the mornings. There was no required practice, but most of the boys showed up. Little league program, and he was just very involved in the community, and everybody loved him. In both 1954 and 1955, they won the regions and made it to state, and I think most of the people in town were there at the games. It was just the biggest thing that had happened in Columbia ever, I guess. Like a circus, I guess, because they were there, and a fantastic time to be from a small town.
My very first experience with Coach Burr, I was shooting on a side goal at the old gym. I was tossing it underhanded up through the rim. He indicated that I should try to shoot the ball over the top. And by the way, that's not just Coach Burr, it was Mr. Burr, always, from the first inception. And that was the way he was recognized in our community and in our school. As a junior, Coach knew that I wasn't good enough to be in the first 7. He would prefer that you didn't stay on the team. Rather than just out and out cutting me, he said, "Jimmy, why don't you be the scorekeeper, and that way you'll get to go to all the games." I said, "Oh, Coach, that sounds like a good idea. Let me do that." I was a much better player as a senior than I would have been as a junior. Finally, one day, he came to me and said, "Richard, I've never given but 10 uniforms. I'm going to give 12 this year so you can have one." Thrilled me to death to get that.
We played for Mr. Burr, and he was one of the greatest coaches I ever had, and he was really strict discipline, and he wanted you to make A's and B's in class, or he didn't have much time for you, and so he made you study when we got through practicing, because he felt like you would play better having the knowledge of basketball and education. After I got out of Adair County High School, we was able to get a scholarship to Western, and I played for E.A. Dillon.
Mr. Burr was my coach, he was my mentor, he was my friend.
He was a teacher at heart. He taught school. At practices, he was teaching, and that was his livelihood. I think everybody that played for him realized that he was teaching them not only to play basketball, but life skills and how to get along with others, even after he retired. A lot of former players, if they came into Columbia, they came by the house to see him. I think that really made him feel good. I was never a great athlete by any means, and I was glad, for instance, I said my son he got 17 letters at Bardstown. He made all district in basketball. He made all region in soccer. He was the kicker on the football team. He was the goalie on the soccer team. He made to state twice in tennis. And his biggest accomplishment was that he was Class A high jump champion 2 years in a row, his junior and senior year in high school. And my dad was able to come to a lot of those. I think that really made him happy. Thank the Basketball Hall of Fame for inducting my dad. It just means a lot to the family. His name is still out there and people still respect him and think a lot of him.
To be considered a dean of the 5th Region so many years later, we congratulate Coach Burr, and as I mentioned earlier, accepting on his behalf is his son, Ben. The presenter he is sponsored by the Friends of Adair County Basketball and presenting Jim Richards, former Adair County player.
Okay.